Well, welcome back to the program. We begin with our summaries for tonight.
Yes, Darryl, if you've been following the news and our viewers have been following the news in Ghana for some time, you realize that MENZGOLD has been having issues with their customers. Their lockup capitals are with the firm. But the latest news is that some retired active police officers are heading to the High Court in a lawsuit against the gold dealership firm. Stay tuned for the details in our summaries.
Some 100 retired and active police officers at the Kaswa Divisional Police Command in the Central Region have reportedly filed a writ at the Accra High Court against gold dealership company MENZGOLD in a bid to retrieve their locked-up investments. The affected officers say they resorted to the courts because all attempts to retrieve their monies from MENZGOLD have proven futile. The group is blaming government for their woes because it failed to regulate the activities of the company. A parliamentary report has revealed that the national home-based carrier is expected to be ready by the first quarter of 2019. According to the report of the Committee on Roads and Transport on the annual budget estimate of the Ministry of Aviation for the 2019 financial year, Ghana will establish a home-based carrier of which Ghanaian participatory involvement with Ethiopian Airlines will be outlawed. This venture will facilitate the operationalization of the new home-based carrier. Ghana Stock Exchange has indicated that it will remove Pioneer Kitchenware from the database of listed companies on the stock market by the end of this year. Pioneer Kitchenware failed to provide an update of its operational performance. Cocoa Processing Company and Aliwex would be allowed to trade on the market after turning around its operations. Access Bank and Diamond Bank have begun a merger that should see the creation of Nigeria's largest bank by number of customers. The CEO of Diamond Bank says the merger is to be completed by the first half of 2019, but it will have to get the required regulatory approvals before it goes through. South Africa Airways and Emirates are planning to deepen a code-sharing agreement. Pending governmental approval, the partnership will see the relationship between the two carriers grow across a wide spectrum of commercial and customer touchpoints. In 2017 and 2018, the code-share agreement between Emirates and South African Airlines saw approximately 90,000 passengers benefit from the partnership.
Welcome back. Those were our summaries for tonight. A lot happening in the aviation sector.
Yes.
Both Ghana and...
You just have to look out for that. South Africa Airways, Emirates partnership, what's that going to bring? Plus, you also have to look at what's happening in Nigeria with Access Bank and Diamond. That would create the largest bank in Nigeria.
In terms of numbers, right?
Yes. Yeah, so we are watching that space for you as well. Right, from our summaries to tonight's stories, commuters along the Tema rail line will heave a sigh of relief from next week following the reopening of rail transport along that stretch. Services along that stretch were suspended following a minor accident. Now, after months of rehabilitation, the Ghana Railway Company Limited says it will begin a test run that's beginning Saturday, December 22. Ebenezer Sabate has more.
The test run, which will begin this weekend, is expected to end on December 31, after which normal operations will start January next year. The 24-kilometer rail line was suspended after a minor accident on the Tesana line in October last year. As a result, commuters in Sakumono, Batrona, Shangri-La, Jawolu, Achimota, Odo, through the Kwame Nkrumah Circle to Kantamanto in Accra, mostly traders, were affected. The test run is expected to bring some relief to traders in the affected areas. Deputy Managing Director of the Ghana Railway Company Limited, Dr. Michael Anyate, has been explaining to Joy Business the importance of the test run.
There's a need for us to, do some work on the line as well as the DMU. DMU simply means diesel multiple units, and that is what we run on the Accra, Tema shuttle service. Now, it's gotten to a time that we've finished with the repair of the tracks. We've also done some repair on the DMUs, and it is only fair that at least we run what the DMU, and then also to check if the track is ready before commuter, official commuter services would then commence. It's just like when you send your car to the mechanic.
He urged residents along the railway lines to desist from activities that undermine the strength of the rail tracks.
People do all sort of activities on the track formation, very close to the rail lines. For instance, one of the enemies of the track is water. People pour water on the track, they dump refuse on the track, and we've had to use, the taxpayers' money to recondition the track formation. So what I will appeal, to the general public is that anybody who is living along the rail lines should, cannot leave. Because although we've demolished some temporary structures, we are going to start probably from next year to, demolish their structures again. So we are appealing to them to go and look elsewhere, because it's disturbing the track formation.
The trains to be deployed on the route will have professional service providers to ensure passengers have the best experience in railway travels.
Now, real gross domestic product GDP growth for the third quarter of 2018 stood at 7.4% as compared to 8.7% recorded during the same period last year. Ebenezer Sabote has the details.
The industry sector recorded the highest growth of 11.7%, followed by the agricultural sector with a rate of 5.5%. The services sector had the least growth over the period with 3.5%, which was attributed to some development in the financial and insurance sectors. Here is Acting Government Statistician Bawadia.
The quarter 3 2018 GDP at current prices was estimated at 75,008.4 million Ghana cedis. The corresponding value for the third quarter of 2017 was 63,477.7 million Ghana cedis. In constant terms, the third quarter 2018 GDP was estimated at 39,299.4 million Ghana cedis. For the third quarter 2017, the estimated value was 36,605.6 million Ghana cedis.
On the quarterly growth rate, Bawalde disclosed that the rate grew by 1.8% between the second and third quarters.
The year-on-year quarterly GDP growth rate for the third quarter of 2018 was 7.4% as compared to 8.7% recorded for the third quarter of 2017.
In a related development, producer price inflation for the month of November fell to 6.5%. Ebenezer Sabote's report for Joy Business.
All right, you're watching Business Live. As we mentioned earlier in the bulletin, we will be going live to the Flagstaff House where we expect the president to interact with some members of the press. As you can see there in your shots, things are just about shaping up for that interaction. And here on Business Live, we've been talking about the fact that the economy for the third quarter of this year declined by 1.3%. What's happening there? These are some of the questions we expect the president to respond to. In the course of the program, you're going to be hearing from the IMF boss, Christine Lagarde, who has been talking about our revenue challenges being one of the biggest threats to economic development. What is happening? We are hoping that the president would hopefully address some of these issues as we continue to monitor events there at the Flagstaff House to bring you the live feed as and when we have it. All right, you're watching Business Live. Let's take a short break now.
Welcome back, everybody, and it's Wednesday, so as you know, we'll be doing the Joy Business Van. Garment manufacturing firms in the country have had their fair share of challenges, especially with the influx of cheaper foreign products. But Ghanaian apparel manufacturing firm Wadata Uniforms is riding the wave and making a mark. That's the story on today's episode of the Joy Business Van.
Wadata in Hausa means satisfaction, and that is what Alhaji Dauda Abdullahi aims for customers with his business that spans 2 decades. But Wadata uniforms didn't start this big.
It was an idea from my late brother, who was into selling of clothing. Then for some time he realized that why not setting it up to be producing, at that time, African wear.
And it caught on. However, Alhaji Dauda's brother passed away and he had to take over operations. That was when he decided to expand operations.
It came to me when we are doing this African wear. I went to a school that is a maritime, now it's a maritime university. I went there, then I saw the number, it's a cadet school, you know, they train for. I saw the number of the people over there. Then it occurred to me that these people may need a uniform.
Alhaji Dauda put in a proposal and won a contract to produce the uniforms on a large scale. That started Wadata Uniforms, manufacturing apparels for corporate and mining organizations, security agencies, hospitals, and the list goes on. Wadata Uniforms emphasizes on quality with a carefully recruited workforce and well-structured operations. That, Alhaji Dauda believes, is what makes the apparel-making firm stand out. It's a tough time to operate as a garment manufacturing firm in Ghana because of the influx of cheap foreign products. Alhaji Dauda considers that a major challenge.
The Chinese and the Indian products comes in here. We can't compete with them because of their pricing. Yeah. They bring it down here. And then most of the materials I brought in from Togo to Ghana. So the Togolese over there produce, and then they find their way and bring it down here. So you can see somebody who is producing it here, you can see the pricing issue.
But Alhaji Dauda is riding the wave. He believes Ghana can match the likes of China.
If we Ghanaians in Ghana here, we said, okay, we wanted to produce. First of all, we wanted to feed ourselves here. That's what I would suggest. We should look at feeding ourselves at home. When we are able to do that, then we can catch up the rest. We can go to the West African market, Africa. Then if we are able to have even African market, buying from Ghana, are we not competing with the Chinese?
For now, Wadata Uniforms is eyeing the West African market. Alhaji Dauda does not regret entering this space. In fact, he thinks there are huge opportunities in this industry that are untapped.
You can have a degree, well, first-class degree, but if you have it and you are into sewing, it will help you. Clothing, as you are sitting down here, you are wearing plenty clothing. Yeah. Under singlet, under pant, your shirt, you see we have 3, yeah. Your trouser, your jacket, yeah. About 5 or 6, even the socks. These are all tailoring issues. So why should a tailor not to be respected? There's business in it.
There's business in it, and Alhaji Dauda Abdullahi is making the most of it.
very inspirational, and you can join the Joy Business Band every Wednesday on radio and on TV as well. To our main story for tonight, the country's program with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, will not end in April 2019 and not this month. That's according to the managing director of the IMF, Christine Lagarde. And, you know, governments had in previous occasions been arguing that the program will end in December 2018. But in an exclusive interview with Joy Business, Madame Lagarde said Ghana would not end the program this year.
To Ghana's program with the fund, and for you, looking at the program, how do you think the program is doing?
Program is doing well. You know, in the last 2 years, there's been a significant shift. When you look at all the key numbers, you look at inflation, it has gone down back to single digit. When you look at growth, which is the size by which the economy will grow, 7% next year is our forecast. When you look at public spending, that is fiscal deficit, it has reduced significantly. And now if you take out the service of debt, which is high, the country is in primary surplus, which means that it spends less than it has, taking out debt service, which is high. So if there is one, you know, sort of negative, I would say that having the direction of too high a debt for the country is the one that the government needs to watch.
I was listening to you, future of work, your keynote address. The problem is you highlighted revenue, 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 and debt.
Well, you know, what can a government do? It needs money in order to spend for the public good. You know, whether it's police, roads, hospitals, schools, that's what you expect from your government. That's what I expect from my government too. But to do that, you cannot rely on borrowing only, because otherwise you're in the hands of you lenders. So you can borrow some, but you have to generate some yourself. So to have good police forces, good roads, good access to water, good electricity supply, and on, you need to contribute, and that is called tax, or that is called revenue, and it needs to be shared equally. In other words, everybody must contribute. Those who have more must contribute more. Those who have little must contribute little.
You talked about the government's free senior high school policy again in your speech, and another brilliant speech over there. But do I get from you that you're concerned about the sustainability of such programs, which is a brilliant one? So let's fix that now.
It's clearly important that education programs be sustainable. You cannot offer and promise education to a child who is 7 and then 2 years down.
All right, so that's it for Business Live tonight.